Oh, it was good enough. I enjoyed it. Oh, we're live now. Okay, welcome. Welcome to this week's edition of Sanctuary Sports sponsored Sol Meet, where again we're joined by co-presenter and current Sons of Liberty affiliate for Portland, Washington, Gavin Little, and today's guest, a lad who knows what kind of hat that Alan Shearer wears. None other than Argentine wizard Julio Arca. Welcome, lads. How are you both doing?
Good, mate.
We're good. Thank you. How's everyone there?
Just, I think we're fine. Yeah, I just want to have to let people know who are watching at home here today that Julio is actually stuck up in the middle of the hills somewhere. So if we lose him, we apologize in advance, but we'll try and get through this as quickly as we possibly can because he's spending time with his family this weekend as well. So, all right, before I get to the formal introduction, because I have to do a formal introduction each session, I wanted to let you know that there will, can you speak now? Will again be a quiz today, and it's being brought to you by the Willow Pub from Sunderland. So stay tuned until the end of the show where we'll be asking you an Arca-based question. The lucky winner shall receive no fewer than 5 pint tokens to this superb establishment. All right, so on to Julio's formal introduction. Julio was born and raised in Quilmes, Argentina. He joined Argentina's Juniors Academy at the age of 14, making his full debut for Los Bechos. Well, go on, I was close. At 17. Arca made 36 appearances for the Buenos Aires-based side before a certain Peter Reid came knocking, securing his signature ahead of the 2000 and 2001 season. This certainly cheered up the little Scouser once dressed in blue as he fought off other Premier League competition to sign him after spotting Julio in an under-21 match against England at Craven Cottage. Arca was Reid's most expensive signing that summer. Julio would score on his Sunderland debut at the Stadium of Light against West Ham United, having been successfully converted from a full-back where he played at both previous club and country. Arca would receive all the accolades for his attacking prowess, picking up the club's Young Player of the Year award in his first season, already becoming a fan favourite. That season, Arca would also captain the Argentina under-20 team, which won the FIFA Under-20 World Cup tournament in Buenos Aires, Argentina, beating the Ghanaian team that featured Boateng, John Mensah, SEN. That was a 3-0 in the final. Injuries and changes in management slowed what was his early progress, but under Mick McCarthy, Julio would again shine for Sunderland. Arca made 37 appearances, scoring 6 goals during the 2003-2004 season. His performances saw him named PFA Team of the Year and Northeast Football Award Football League Footballer of the Year for that season. Julio was arguably Sunderland's best player the following season as he helped the lads return to the Premiership after winning the Football League Championship. 42 appearances and 9 goals, Arca would deservedly double his PFA awards and again appear in the Team of the Year. Back in the top flight, Julio would score his first goal of the season away to the Smog Monsters. Injury again would plague his season, yet he would still manage 24 appearances with a return of 2 goals. Amongst the good news that Arca had indeed nobbled Shearer, the bad news that came with it was that a bitter blow to Sunderland faithful. After Sunderland were relegated from the Premier League, his 5-year stay would come to an end. 177 appearances, 23 goals, Sunderland AFC's solid gold 11 accolade, Young Player of the Year, 2 PFA Team of the Year awards, and 1 broken Shearer. Julio would don his hazmat suit, get on the bus at Park Lane, and disembark at Newport Road, Middlesbrough. His 6-year stint with the webbed-fingered brethren again highlighted what a professional Julio is. Adored by the Borough fans, Julio would be named Supporters Player of the Year, Players Player of the Year, as well as Borough's Player of the Year for the 2010-2011 season. Julio would officially retire from professional football due to a toe injury. What did you do to your toe, Julio?
Basically, what happened, it started in 2005. I started with arthritis in one of my foot, and that was basically deteriorating. So I used to get cortisone injections once a year, and then obviously with the pass of the time, that got worse and worse until I needed the operation. And the operation was okay, but the recuperation was about a lot longer than what I expected. So I was out for 2 years, and then I decided to basically concentrate on my coaching batches and do something.
So it wasn't, I mean, I'm just thinking back, I think Gary Lineker had a toe injury. I thought he got his toe stuck in the tap, something stupid like that. Anyway, so, all right, so your contract expired at Middlesbrough in 2013. And it says, if the northeast of England couldn't love this lad enough, he'd go on to play second division Sunday League with pub side, the Willow Pond, before coming out of retirement to join the Mariners of South Shields in Northern League Division 2. Scoring on his debut, again, Arca's time with the Santances would prove fruitful. Not only would he help them secure 3 consecutive promotions, he captained and lead the Shields to victory in the FA Vase, which was his first ever Wembley final appearance. He would retire again for the last time at the end of the 2017-18 season. Ladies and gentlemen, a true Northeast footballing legend, Julio Arca. There you are, Julio. I told you it was a long one. It normally is. But,
that's a good one. That's the best one.
Well, thank you for joining us today as well, Julio. So what are you up to these days?
Oh, it's a pleasure to be talking to you. We choose in Argentina. We came back to Argentina over a year ago. I spent nearly 20 years in UK, so we decided to come back here for a few years to spend more time with family and close friends, as it's hard to see them when you live over there in UK. So yeah, our idea is to stay here for a couple of years, and then we might go back to UK, depending on how things develop with this obviously virus, and how things. I don't know how things gonna change in UK with the Brexit and all that. Mm-hmm. So time will tell, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about the beginning of your footballing journey. So you signed for Argentinos Juniors, the academy, at the age of 14, and then you'd make your full debut against Independiente at 17. I think you lost, was it like 7-1 or something? It was something crazy. But as a young player, where did you draw your inspiration from?
Well, my early career started at the age of 5, 6, like many kids around the world. Just playing for a local club called Club Moreno, just not far from my house. Playing five-a-side, and then start to play to a team called Quilmes. That's the place where I live. Mm-hmm. I spent a few years there, and then at the age of 10, 11, I went for a trial in Argentinos Juniors. Everything was okay. I went past the trial, and that's how my career started in Argentinos Juniors till the age of 18. So basically, I done all my youth career in there. Fantastic club, with a lot of good players. If you look at the history of the club, many good players came out from that club. Obviously, one of them is Diego Maradona. He's the best example for us. But players like Riquelme, Cambiaso, Placente, and many others. So yeah, at the age of 18, 19 was when I had the chance to make my debut. My debut wasn't against Independiente, was against Instituto de Córdoba away. Okay. That was a draw, 1-1. And then, few games after that, we play against Independiente. That was probably one of the worst games, a disaster to get beat against them, 8-1. So that was a hard one to take, but it was even harder for the fans. They were waiting for us. We had to basically lock ourselves in the changing room for 2 hours, but they were waiting for us outside. So yes, through my career in Argentinos Juniors, I have the chance to play for the under-17s in Argentina. Mm-hmm. And then my bigger opportunity came when they called me to play on the 20s. At the same time, we went to play one game in London against England on the 21s. Mm-hmm. And that's basically, I got told that Peter Reid or someone from Sunderland was watching the game, and that's how it started to follow me for the next 6 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you were growing up again as a young player, who were your heroes back then as well? Was there somebody that when you're out in the playing as a kid, the old jumpers for goalposts kind of situation? Was there someone who that Julio wanted to be? Did you want to be a Maradona? Who was the person that you looked up to from that standpoint?
Well, I mean, I born in 1981, and I think Maradona's best time was from around 84, 83, 84, till around mid-90s. So Maradona was a hero for everyone at that time, and if you have to look at play, obviously he was the one. In my position, I was a left back, so the players I used to look at, especially from Argentina, was Juan Pablo Sorín and Diego Placente, 2 players that also came from Argentinos Juniors. And then you have players like Roberto Carlos and and many other left backs that obviously you look at them and I was trying to learn from them. But they were the players I was looking, one day be like them or try to learn from them.
Well, your dad played a bit of football as well, didn't he?
Yeah, my dad play. I think he ought to play into the reserves in Racing Club. That a big club here as well. And then granddad passed away, and basically he had to get to work. He didn't have the time to work and carry on playing, so he had to leave football. So that was a dream that he never could make it happen. So when my career started to pick up, obviously he was happy than me to see me playing in the high level.
No doubt. Gav?
Yeah, you mentioned that the under-21 game against England at Craven Cottage. Incidentally, England were managed by Sunderland legend and Hall of Famer Howard Wilkinson in that match. And you mentioned that was obviously where you got noticed by Peter Reid. Now, according to Degsy here, it appears that Leeds United and our neighbours in black and white across the river that won't be mentioned were also interested in signing you. So how did the move to Sunderland come about?
I don't know if you asked me a question or no.
How did you move to Sunderland come about, Julio?
I didn't hear that. How the Sunderland move come about? As I say, I went to play for Argentina on the 20s against England. We played in London in Fulham, and it was a good game. I played well. We played well. We drew 1-1, and then I guess they start following me for the next 6 months. And after 10 months, an offer came to Argentina Juniors. My agent called me saying it's a club in England interested in signing you. To be honest, I didn't know much about Sunderland. England at that time was a good league, but Spain and Italy was the most recognized league in South America, especially. We could watch a lot of games from Spain and Italy. Offer came. They basically didn't give me much time to think about it. They gave me a week to decide if I want to take the opportunity or not. And I was prepared to leave. I always wanted to play in Europe. Probably my idea was to play in Spain or Italy because similar culture, similar style of play. But I say, well, why not? I give a go. Opportunities sometimes come, once or sometimes you have many opportunities. But I decided to take the first one, and I don't regret. I think it's the best decision I made. And yeah, it was strange, to change basically my whole life. At 18, I had to leave my country, my parents, friends. So it was a hard decision, but from day one, Sunderland treated me as one of them. Basically, I was part of the family, if you want to call it. That was a family club, before. Everyone knew, knew each other. People was there for a long time. Peter Reid obviously was a well-recognized manager in the whole country, and yes, I have some at that time. My passport, I didn't have my Italian passport with me, so I have to wait a bit longer. But they took me there for a week just to show me everything around, and it's always a funny story that I tell because when they take me to the first time they asked me to go to Sunderland, they want to pick me up in Newcastle Airport. They pick me up, they took me around Newcastle. Obviously, Newcastle is a nice city. Then they took me to the stadium, the brand new stadium, 48,000. Yeah. I never played in a stadium probably as big as that. I played in Argentina in a couple big stadiums. Took me to the seafront, and so everything was lovely. Everything was so nice. I said, oh, well, it's great. You're going to stay in the Marriott Hotel just on the seafront. And then with the pass of the time, I started to find places like, places like they were a bit more rough, Pennywell and places like that. And I said, oh, they told me everything, But no, it was a great start. I was lucky that I got in the team. As soon as I got there, I think a couple of weeks after, the manager asked me to play as a left wing. So that was a new position for me, because obviously Mickey Gray was a left back captain, a local lad as well. So yeah, I could not ask for a better start. Start against West Ham, score in my debut. It was a good game, and basically a new chapter started for me in UK and in Sunderland Football Club.
Mm-hmm.
How did playing in England compare with playing in Argentina?
Can you hear him, Julio?
I can hear you, but I don't know if someone else.
You can't hear Gav. That's great. I'll translate then, because he's speaking in some sort of southern twang he's got. I have no idea what's going on there. That's why he doesn't understand you, Gav. You've got this southern accent. It's like whatever. He asked how it basically compared to playing in England versus Argentina. So, what was there any comparison or vastly different?
At that time, we're talking about 20 years ago, the English league was more physical, more aggressive. It was a lot of running to do. We didn't have all the cameras they have now, and where the referees can look at things that happen on the field. So it was hard to adapt to that style of football, especially at that young age. But I was lucky to play, alongside great footballers as well, players with a lot of experience. We have obviously at that time Kevin Phillips, Golden Boot the year before for Sunderland, and he done fantastically well, and many other players in there. So it was hard, but I was young, 19, so plenty energy. I could run all day, and I was prepared to obviously work hard and do the sacrifice that Sunderland like to see when I play again on the pitch, So yeah, it didn't take me long to get used to the league.
That's good to hear. Right, we're gonna try again now. See if you can hear Gav now.
Yeah, I can hear him now. I can see as well.
Okay, good. Try again, Gav.
Julio, what did you miss most about Argentina when you first moved to England?
Well, in the beginning, it was hard. I always say the first 2 years, it was really hard for me. Obviously, I was happy playing. The club looked after me the best they could. But after training, I had to go back to the hotel, and it was me in a small room with 5 English channels. So at that time, we didn't have WhatsApp, video calls. I don't think I even have an email. I think I made my first email when I got in UK. So to keep in touch with my family, it was hard. Obviously, when you make a call from UK to Argentina, it was really expensive as well. So I could not spend like half an hour every day on the phone with them. So yeah, I have some bad days where I was thinking, should I go back home? But obviously, I signed a contract for 4 years. So. But that was the young age, with the pass of the time, I started to adapt myself to everything in UK. I was lucky that Sunderland signed Emerson Tom at the same time than me. He could speak 4 or 5 different languages, and he became my oldest brother there. Basically, he looked after me. He helped me a lot inside and outside the field. It's the day that after 20 years we keep in touch. We talk every few weeks. I went to see him a few years ago, and he became one of my best friends. So I was lucky to have him to help me more outside the field than inside the field.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of friends, Nicolas Medina would join us obviously at the club like a year after you'd been there. And you played with him at Argentina's juniors, and I think he was also at national level as well. What happened with Nicolas then altogether? Because we were all obviously, after watching you play, were super excited to get another Julio in the team, and I think he was playing centre midfield. What happened? Did he just not settle in, or did you not enjoy the experience? Or
I think Nicolas, when they signed him, obviously I have a good season. So as you say, the fans were expecting another young talent from Argentina to come and do the same. It's not easy, obviously, I was a bit lucky to start in the team, but Nicolas have a lot more competition in the center midfield. At that time, we have players like, Eric Roy or Eric Roy. We have Alex Ray, Gabby McCann, Darren Williams that could play there as well as a center midfield. So we have a lot of good players in there with more experience in the English league. So for Nicolas come to that team and play straight away, it was going to be a lot harder. On my position, I think I only have, it was me, Kevin Kilbane, and I think it might be another young player there. So the competition was less. And Nicolas, at that time in the English league, you have to be strong. You have to be, well physical as well to play in that center area. And Nicolas was like me, I could get away because I play on the side, on the left side. So I was skinny, but I could play on there, and it was only 1v1 against the right back or the right wing. But Nicolas had to be in the center, and imagine playing with Roy Keane, Vieira, Scholes, players with a lot of experience, and it was hard for Nicolas to get adapted to the English league. And to be honest, it didn't really pay for Sunderland, and it didn't pay off for him to play there. But it's just different styles. Players. Some players can adapt quicker than the others.
That makes sense. I'm just going to go back a second there because you mentioned good players and Darren Williams in the same sentence. And no, I'm only joking because I'm sure Dazzle will be watching this, so no doubt. But I'm going to take it back to your debut. So you made your debut at the Stadium of Life for the Lads. And we mentioned before, West Ham, there was 46,500 people there. And then you scored your first goal for the club. So can you take us through your memories of that day? What was it like to actually get on basically get off the mark for Sunderland?
Yes, as I say, I go in England. The first week they asked me to play for the reserves, and then I got there. So it's gonna take a while for me to get the team, especially knowing that Sunderland finished 7th the year before. A good team, good strong team. As I say, the manager came and said, "Look, we're gonna play your left wing." So I was excited, but at the same time, really, really nervous. And going the stadium that day, when we're coming out that tunnel with the music and everything, and the 48,000, wow, that was an experience for me. I never experienced that before. I always say it was like playing a World Cup, because the noise and everything was unbelievable. Obviously, for the players that have been playing for Sunderland, it was just another game. But for me, it was just he surprised me in a good way, and yes, I was lucky that the first game everything went well. We didn't get a win, but everything went well for me. I scored, so basically, I kind of built my platform that game, and then the part of the games, my performance were consistent. The team was doing well as well. I always help them when the team do well and you play well, and that season was really good. We were a bit unlucky not to qualify to UEFA, but it was a fantastic season for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Julio, you mentioned that you made that transition from left back to left wing pretty quickly once you got in the Sunderland side. According to our research, you also played in the centre of midfield a little bit as well. Which position did you prefer playing in your career, and why?
Well, I wish I could have played left back all my career. That was a position that I find comfortable. I think I could play a lot longer if I play in that position all my career. Because first of all, you run a lot less than when you play left wing for sure. And definitely you run a lot less if you play center midfield as well. But it's a position I always like, and I play all my youth career there. But as I say, you have to adapt, especially when you're a professional footballer, to play in different positions. And when I got to Sunderland 18, 19, imagine if I say to Peter Reid, when he said to me, "Go and play left wing," I say no. That was my chances to play for Sunderland could have been, none. So obviously, if you asked me to play right back the first game, I would have played right back as well. So left wing was a similar position to left back. Obviously, you have to attack more. He asked me to obviously cross a lot of balls to the strikers in the box, but the three positions have different things. Obviously left back, you basically defend. You should score forward when you want. Left wing, you have to create. You have to create chances for the striker. You have to score goals. And center midfield is about hard work. You have to work hard. up and down, create situations for strikers to score goals, defend, help your left wing, right wing, help the defender. So in the center area, you have to do a bit of everything. So it's a lot harder than the other two positions.
Well, you mentioned there about goal scoring. So you scored 23 goals in 177 games for Sunderland. Your most prolific was the 2004-2005 season. I think you got 9 goals in 42 games. So of all the goals that you scored for Sunderland, which ones, because I know there's more than one, was your favourite? Which one were your favourites for scoring?
Well, I think the best one I scored was the ones against Bradford away. I think it was 2000. I can't remember what the season. I think it was 2003, 2004. It was on the Mick McCarthy. I think it was at the beginning of Mick McCarthy career, because I was playing left back. When Mick McCarthy arrived, he started to play me left back. Then obviously George McCartney started playing left back, and I went to play left wing again, and we have a good partnership. That was probably one of the best goals. But if I have to remember one, obviously the debut, against West Ham, after just 25 minutes playing in UK, I scored with my header as well, and never really scored many goals with my header. And then went from across, I think it was Kevin Kilvine crossed the ball and I scored, and the feeling was I could not explain. It was a couple of seconds where you think about family, friends, all the sacrifice that I done through my career to get where I was.
Mm-hmm.
So it was exciting, a very, very exciting time. And I felt like, sacrifice pay off, and I felt at that time that by scoring that goal, that things pay off.
Excellent.
Julio, you captained the Argentina's under-21 side in a World Cup, a tournament that included the likes of D'Alessandro, Essien, Boateng, Mendy, Kaká, Huntelaar, Colaccini, and then former Sunderland players, Medina that we talked about, but Montari, Mensah, and obviously the legend that is Djibril Cissé. Argentina remained undefeated throughout that tournament, winning all 7 games. What are your memories of the event?
Well, that have to be one of the greatest under-20s for Argentina. The amount of good players we have in that team. Just their careers talk about how good they were. Every one of them, I'm pretty sure 95% of that team, if no more, have a fantastic careers in Europe, in South America, in big clubs. Even I think it's 2 or 3 of them still playing. We're talking about Maxi Rodriguez. Obviously, he was at Liverpool. He's still playing for a team called Boys at the age of 40. Andres D'Alessandro is still playing in Brazil. I think Fabrizio Colaccini is gonna get back playing again for San Lorenzo. So yeah, that team was incredible. We have a good, fantastic manager as well, and a lot good people working alongside him. I don't think any national team could beat us that World Cup, because it was no egos. We have footballers playing for River Plate in the first team. I was in Europe. We have other lads playing for Boca Juniors. Coming from big teams, different places, but we were a solid group, and things basically pay off. We work hard, but we play excellent football as well. I remember, like, the first few games, it wasn't many people in the stadium in Argentina, because they didn't know if you support the team. It was on the 20, obviously it's not as important as the first team, but after 3 or 4 games, when they saw how good they were playing, they started coming and supporting the team. And the last 4 games, it was full house. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was excellent to win a World Cup in Argentina. Best thing you could ask to win a World Cup in your own country.
Well, you mentioned before there about playing against Independiente and locking yourselves in the changing room. So one of the questions I have now is I put there a country that's actually renowned for mental football fans. How does the weird time derby hold up against some of the biggest rivalries in Argentina?
I don't know. I think it's slightly different. I think in UK, obviously, when I first played my first derby against Newcastle, I could tell. Obviously, the passion in there. And Newcastle and Sunderland fans. Yes, some of them they probably hate each other, but I think it's more a friendly passion, if you wanna call. I think you have special cases when they don't want to see each other. The fans, I'm talking about the fans. In Argentina, it's a different level. River Boca Juniors. Some of the fans basically they want to kill each other, and that's how extreme it is. That's why in Argentina now away fans are not welcome anymore. So basically, when you play at home for your team, it's only home fans in there. They're not allowed to bring away fans anymore because obviously the old troubles they had before. But yeah, everyone talk about River Boca and play for one of them in a derby must be special, but the derby in UK, the Newcastle Sunderland is special as well. It's just different, but it's a special one, and you can see how much it means for people. For Sunderland, for Newcastle, for Middlesbrough. As soon as the fixture come out, the first thing they look is when we're playing against them. When the three teams are in the Premier League. So that shows you how much it means for them.
You just mentioned before about playing for a good manager for the under 20s team. So I'm going to ask you about the managers you've played for, and specifically who's the best one you played for. I want to rattle off just a few here. And so you played for Osvaldo Sosa, and is it Tockley, Peter Reid, Howard Wilkinson, Mick McCarthy, obviously Borley very briefly, Gareth Southgate, Gordon Strachan, Tony Mowbray. Then there was Blue at the Willow Pond. The Sunday League one. Yeah, John King, Lee Picton, Graham Fenton. So who was the best manager that you played under, and what set him aside from others?
Well, I mean, to say who is the best one, if you have to say who is the best one, I have to look at who's the manager that I play most of the games for. Because every manager is different. Every manager is like personalities. Every human being have different personalities, and managers are the same. They have different philosophies of playing. Peter Reid, obviously, I always gonna be thankful to him for giving me the chance to sign for a team like Sunderland and give me the chance to play in Europe at such a young age. Then at my youth career, I have some great managers in my youth career that they're not well recognized around the world, but they were fantastic, and that's how I learned all my technique, ability, and being comfortable on the ball. That was the player I was. After Peter Reid, we have Wilkinson. That Howard Wilkinson for me was basically a nightmare. I didn't really play.
He was for us as well.
He was a nightmare for but for myself, I played 4 games that season. So, I don't know if he was good. If obviously when he was at Leeds, it was good. But when he came to Sunderland, things didn't pay off for him, for the club, for myself. And then obviously Mick McCarthy, another fantastic manager. I think Mick, when I was about to leave the club, because obviously I had that bad spell with Howard Wilkinson. I remember talking with Mick McCarthy. I knew who he was, well-recognized manager, and he said to me, "Look, I want you to stay. You're gonna play for me." So that's how I give another chance to Sunderland, and again, I don't regret, because that was probably, some of the best years in my Sunderland career. I played many games under him. I scored goals as well. And then in Middlesbrough, we have obviously you mentioned Bowley in Sunderland, but on the Bowley we only play a few games.
Yeah.
So, and then in Middlesbrough, Gary Southgate, again, very good manager. It was his first team, but nice, very good person. Really nice guy, and it's good to see him doing so well now in the national team. I think he deserved that. And then again, we have a Gordon Strachan, different style, more like an old school style. Tony Mowbray, a guy that I like to play football, like to play my style. And then when we move to obviously the Sunday League and South Shields, obviously the Sunday League, I mean, anyone could be a manager there. The first one to turn up is the manager. But Blue, yeah, he was a funny guy. He was good.
Yeah.
They treat me well. They treat me fantastically well there. I was lucky. They were surprised to see me playing in the Sunday League. When I first turned up, they saw, what the hell he's doing here. He's playing in the Premier League, he's playing the Championship, and he's come to play for us now. And I, to be honest, I have to say that I got to know a lot of good people there, working class people. That when you play in the top level, you don't really socialize with them because it's not because you don't want, it's because you have a different style of life. You go on train, you play, go back home, and you spend time with your family. It was more like just basically living a normal life, go and play with your mates, then go to the pub, have a few drinks. And I have to say, the way that they treat me, it was great. Even when we're going to the pub after the games, and if you were man of the match, you'll get 2 pints for free. It's little things in life that means a lot. For me, I came from a mid-class family or lower, and I know how to appreciate things. I never basically fly high when I was playing. I always trying to maintain the same style of life through my football career. So I became one of them in the Sunday League, and they love that. They like me, I like them, and even now I'm still in touch with some of the lads, from that era. And then South Shields was a bit different again. South Shields, when I first signed with Sean King, that is one of my friends now, he gave me the chance to play for them, but we started basically from scratch. South Shields didn't have much money. The new chairman arrived to the club. They started to invest in the club. And we went from that to, as you say, to lift the trophy in Wembley. So fantastic in South Shields.
Definitely. I just wanted to tell you as well, obviously, I got in touch with the Willow Pond, like I'd mentioned before, and they were super excited to hear that you were going to be on here as well. Like I said before, they've offered up 5 pint tokens for the quiz thing at the end, which is just superb. So, but
if you please, I want to say hello to everyone there. I hope everyone is well, and hopefully sooner than later I'll be around there for a pint.
That's brilliant, man. It's brilliant.
Excellent. So, Julio, you're with the club for 5 seasons, and you lined up against some cracking Sunderland players. Some of them are obviously considered club legends to this day. Some of my favourites that you played alongside was Jody Craddock, Don Hutchinson, Mickey Gray, Quinny, Kevin Phillips, Schwartz, Darren Williams, Gavin McCann, Emerson Tome, Claudio Reyna. Who was the best Sunderland player for you that you played alongside, and why was that?
Well, when I first came, obviously Niall Quinn and Kevin Phillips were fantastically together. I think Niall was going to hit the end of his career, but still obviously do a job. Kevin Phillips was on top of his career. He, as I say before, he won the Golden Boot, and the year that arrived, he done fantastically well as well. But we have all different style of players in there, and that's what you need to do well. So we have players like Kevin Phillips that score goal from anywhere. Niall Quinn, they will hold the ball, and then in the center midfield area, I remember I used to call them killers because some of the tackles from them, it was just scary, especially Alex Ray, Gav McCann, and Stefan Schwartz. God, they could tackle, and I was surprised some of the tackles, even on the training field. Sometimes it was just scary. But that's why you need something in the team, And then that season we signed Hutchinson. That he done really well. I know he was only there for a season, but he was a fantastic player.
Yeah.
And then defensively as well. Defensively we have some great players. Emerson Tom, Jody Craddock, Stan Varga. He was unlucky to be injured, but he was a strong, fantastic player as well. But injuries prevent him to play a lot more for Sunderland. And then the partnership with Mickey Gray I think it worked pretty well. On the left side, we play many games together, and I think we done pretty well on that side.
So some other players outside of, well, after you left Sunderland as well, you played with some fantastic players. We mentioned before for under 21s, D'Alessandro, and there was Saviola, and then with Borough, there was obviously Mark Schwarzer, Boateng, Woodgate, Mad Dog, Pogatet, obviously Stuart Downing, Cattermole, Tunshai, Justin Hoyt, who's over in the States now. I think he's playing for Cincinnati right now. Mido, and then the three lads from Shields, Warren Byrne, David Foley, and Carl Finnegan. Who was the best player that you played alongside? I mean, outside of Sunderland, who was the best player that you played alongside, and why?
Outside, I mean, it's such a big one, especially when I arrived to Middlesbrough. In Middlesbrough, we have some fantastic international players. I mean, you mentioned some of them. We have Mark Viduka, we have Yakubu, we have George Boateng. We have many good footballers in there, and one of them that they caught my eye when I first arrived in Middlesbrough was Gaisca Mendieta. He was at some point he was the best player in the world. So when I first saw him, I said, "Wow!" I remember him from obviously Valencia. He was a fantastic player. Then he went to Barcelona. I think they went to Lazio, and then he came to Middlesbrough, and such a big profile, but such a humble guy. He was a low profile lad. He could speak to you after training, before training. He was just a normal guy, and he was a fantastic player. He was the first one to be there, the last one to leave. Look after himself. When I arrived in Middlesbrough, he didn't play much, but he was what you call a professional footballer. Even that he played for the biggest club in the world. He probably financially didn't need to play anymore, but he was a fantastic professional.
Sort of flipping that question on its head a little bit, Julio, who was the best opposing player that you faced?
That's another hard one as well. I remember my first away game for Sunderland was against Manchester United. Play West Ham, we drew 1-1, and we went to play against Manchester United. My second game, and we got beat 3-0. And I remember, probably a few months before I signed for Sunderland, when I was in Argentina juniors, we used to go obviously before the games, sleep over in the hotels, and we always used to play PlayStation, and always play with big clubs. Manchester United, obviously you got Beckham, Giggs, Paul Scholes, Roy Keane, and just a few months after, I find myself playing against them. So it was just it was weird, to have Beckham, Ryan, because I used to play against Beckham, because Beckham play on the right, I play on the left, in the same side, and then Paul Scholes next to him, and then Gary Neville, and then Roy Keane and Giggs, and that team. Wow, that was unbelievable. And then you have the two guys on front, obviously York and Cole, Tam on the back. I remember him. That game, a corner. He came, when you can't see the center was coming from a corner. Wow, he was massive. I find myself next to him. I think, well, it's no point me doing anything here. Might as well get the ball, because I'm not gonna win that. And then obviously you have players like Thierry Henry, that he was a fantastic player, and Elka when he was in Arsenal, and many others. I mean, the list never ends. But I was lucky. I was very lucky to play against some of the best footballers in the world.
Was there any players that you just didn't like to play against? Someone that you dread facing?
He was a player that he played for Millwall. Millwall, it wasn't a great team. They always trying to basically rip your head off if you can, and the fans as well. The fans, every time we play there, they were a nightmare. And he was an Australian player called Muscat. I think it was Muscat. He was a nightmare. Honestly, every time I play him, he wants to hurt me. That's that. It's just some of the tackles. As I say, at that time, it wasn't many cameras. The referee could not see everything, so it was elbows, punches, kicking. It was a bit annoying to play against him, but I didn't mind when it's competition. Obviously, when you compete against the right back, me being a left wing, but he was a good player, but it was a nightmare to play against him.
Well, Danny from Bulgaria asked, what was your best moment in a Sunderland shirt? Because obviously there were many in there, FA Cup runs, Championship winning sides, playing in the Premier League. But what was your best moment in a Sunderland shirt?
Well, I think best moment, if you have to pick one, have to be a title. When we won the championship, and we got a trophy, and we got the chance to go around the city with the trophy. Just to see that many fans exciting to get back in the Premier League. So basically, I felt that we give something back to them, after all the money they spend, season tickets away, traveling, and to see their faces so happy. That basically, I couldn't explain how happy I was. Obviously, happy for myself, happy for the club, but happy for the fans. And that had to be the moment, when we went around the city with the open bus, and then we came back to the stadium and we have a big celebration there in front of the fans. That was fantastic. And then the other time it was good as well. It was just before the game before the semi-final in the FA Cup. I think it was Sheffield United at home, if I'm not wrong, the quarterfinals. When we won that game at home, it was another fantastic day. I know we got short. We lost in the semi-final against Millwall. We should have done better, but it was a great run, and that game before the final was a fantastic day for the club as well.
What about your worst moment? Whether it be like a performance or an experience at the club?
Well, as I say, the year that Howard Wilkinson was in charge, that was. It's not all the time that I find myself. I basically felt like I want to leave the club. That was the first time I said I want to leave. I want to leave because it's no point me being here at 22. I think it was 22, 23, and not playing. I was fit to play. I knew I could play in that team as well, and I was always third choice. I wasn't even a second choice to play in that team. So, when you feel like you don't have the chance, or they don't want to give you the chance, then what's the point?
Yeah.
And that was the lowest time, in my Sunderland career. But I think every footballer have, lows and ups times, where like you have to go through that to become stronger. And that's what happened after that season. I basically, became stronger again, and I have two fantastic seasons under Mick McCarthy.
Yeah.
Well, back on a more positive note, Julio, you obviously played in some cracking games for Sunderland. Some of the games that sort of spring to my mind is the away victory over Newcastle, and that 2-0 away win to obviously the club you go on to play for in Borough. What was your favourite Sunderland match that you played in, and why?
I mean, the first season we have some fantastic games at the Stadium of Light. I remember playing against Man United at home. We won I think it was the Carling Cup at that time. We won and scored a header as well. Winning against Chelsea the first season, I think we beat Chelsea twice. We beat Chelsea at home, and we beat Chelsea 4-2, if I'm not wrong, away in Stamford Bridge. So, I mean, the first season in my Sunderland career, I felt like that team could beat any team. Any team that came to the Stadium of Light, I don't think they feel comfortable playing against us there, because we have a good team, because the stadium was so loud, and we have a full house every time we play at home. So I think it's hard to pick one game, but I think the first season, the fans will go to the stadium thinking we're gonna win today. They didn't feel like we could get beat against anyone. They felt that we could win against anyone, and as I say, we could have done better. I remember we were second in January or February. We were second in the Premier League, only a few points ahead behind Manchester United, if I'm not wrong. So obviously then we got a couple injured players, and then we lost few games, but we finished 7th. But that was a strong team there.
Without a doubt. So you leave Sunderland, you play 185 games for the Borough, and I have to ask this question because I'm sure, and you get it all the time. How did it compare playing for Sunderland, playing for Middlesbrough?
Well, I always say that I always gonna be, thankful for the two clubs. One club, obviously, Sunderland. They give me a chance to play in Europe, to basically open the door for my European career. But also, they saw me growing up. I was a young kid. They look after myself without much help, because I remember when I first clue, we didn't have every single clue now in the Premier League, probably in the Championship as well, have translators, have things or people to help you out. I remember every time I need something, I have to go with my dictionary in front of the secretary and translate words, from obviously from the dictionary to her, and then she will do the same. So it was a conversation that we probably could have in 2 minutes. We'll spend half an hour, but they done the best they could to like make me feel comfortable. So and then my time, obviously, the managers they helped me out to like grow up as a footballer, as a person. And then when we got relegated, the last time we got relegated, when I was there, Middlesbrough came, and then they gave me another opportunity to get back playing in the Premier League in the highest level. And then it was a different chapter, because I was 26. It was a lot more experience. I have basically 6-7 years on English football. So again, Middlesbrough gave me the chance to play in a high level with some fantastic players. So to say one club is better than the other, it's hard. It's hard. I think it's not fair. Obviously, the connection with the Sunderland fans might be stronger than the connection with the Middlesbrough fans, but because just things develop like that, they probably saw these young kids, and I'm pretty sure I always say this, that they saw this young kid coming from Argentina, was Sunderland paid 3.5 million. I'm sure 100% of the fan must have, when I signed for them, that question mark: who the hell is this young guy we're paying 3.5 million? For sure they saw about that, but things pay off, and then they didn't sing that anymore. But yeah, two fantastic clubs. Where fantastic, the fans are a lot passionate about the clubs, and yes, I hope, I like to see the two teams doing a lot better than what they're doing now. It'd be good, hopefully, in the near future, to see the two teams getting back in the Premier League.
Well, you mentioned the teams. Just funnily enough, so I know obviously Sunderland won yesterday, Shields won yesterday, Borough drew yesterday, and the Mags have just got beaten 3-0 off Brighton. Isn't that fantastic? So it's not a bad weekend for the Red and Whites for a change. So I had to mention that.
Make you feel better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
that's the only thing I can. The Mags losing.
Well.
So anyway.
Yeah, I know.
You had obviously a chance to play in some pretty incredible football grounds during the course of your career. What was the best and the worst grounds that you played in?
Best stadiums, we're talking about, again, a long time ago, but stadiums I like to play, was Manchester United, of course, at that time. Arsenal, I know it wasn't the old Arsenal stadium. It wasn't the British one, but it was a proper English stadium. Liverpool as well. Stadiums like Fulham, they were just a proper English stadiums. And then I think one of the worst ones, I think it was Brentford away. The changing rooms were, honestly, I think my car is bigger than that changing room. It's just the stadiums weren't great. It's a place that I think they keep everything as it is to make you feeling comfortable when you get there, especially when big teams get there. They make you feel like, oh, look at this, and your mind just completely changed, and I remember talking with people, and some teams used to do that. They leave the stadiums, probably make you feel cold, not like, because if you make you feel comfortable, you arrive with a different mentality. But some of the things used to do that before, and it put you off, And but I mean, I can't remember any really bad stadiums. I remember Brentford because it was a small changing room, and we got beat as well that game.
I know, I was there.
Oh, you were there? Oh, well.
Yeah.
I think we were winning and then we got beat. I can't remember if
Yeah.
it was 3-1
We got beat
or
3-1,
they
we
have
were winning
this,
1-0.
they have this
Something
striker
else
playing for them,
I think.
little fella. Yeah, that one. Yeah, he scored 2 goals, and then I think they sold him the year after.
We've got a couple of comments from people who are tuning in live online. Sebastian from our River Plate, obviously the Argentina supporters group as well. He just says hello, friend, basically. I'm good at translating Spanish. And then Derek McLaughlin, who is in Oviedo, Florida, he's asked a question: what's it like having the best individual player song, and did it turn you into a Spandau Ballet fan? I'm not thinking it.
Well, first of all, I want to mention, you mentioned Sebastian. Sebastian
Yes.
is a guy that got the branch supporters in Argentina, the Sunderland branch supporters.
Yeah.
He made official a couple of weeks ago. So, yeah, hello to Sebastian. I was talking to him the other day. And yeah, when I first listened to that song that it became popular, I could not believe when they were just chanting my name, you know. It wasn't long after I arrived in Sunderland, you know. I started, basically hearing that I don't think it was in the beginning. It was just Julio, and then the somehow that song became popular, and great! What a great feeling, you know, when the fans recognize you that way and sing your name just by singing your name. It means that you're doing something well for them, you know, and I felt like I work really hard for Sunderland with good times and bad times, but every time I put a shirt on, I always say I done best I could, you know.
Absolutely. So you've remained active in the game from the perspective that you did your UEFA B license. You've completed that as well.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider managing Sunderland?
Well, to be honest, I don't up to the B license, and I worked for Sunderland Academy for 2 years. I was there for 2 years with under 14s and 15s, and then just for different reasons, I decided to step away, and I started working with my own academies. With one of my friends, Sean King, that at that time he was South Shields manager.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 2 academies over there, working with kids from the age of 6 till 13, 14. And I enjoy that. You know, we have all different kind of players. Everyone was welcome. We used to try to teach them, all or pass our knowledge to them. And I felt more comfortable working with young players than working with older players. I don't know. I probably don't have the personality, or I need to try, but. For some reason, I felt more comfortable working with young players. So I never say never. Obviously, after time it might be a chance, and I might try, I might give it a go. But at the moment, I don't feel that that's for me.
Okay. Gav? You froze?
My kids have got up out of bed and they're immediately fighting with each other. It's unfortunately it's what 4 brothers do, I think, all day, every day. But the current Sunderland team, what's your opinion about the current state of the club?
You want me to be honest about it?
Yes, please.
Well, it's bad. It is bad. I've been seeing this happening for a long time ago, you know, and obviously it's a process. When you do things bad on a daily basis, at some point things gonna turn, you know, in bad. You can't expect in doing things wrong and then somehow, wow, we're back again, you know. Obviously, the way that the club has been running, I don't know details. I'm not sure what's happening behind doors, but obviously I could see as much as you from the outside, and I don't think things been doing or been done in the right way. You know, how can a team like Sunderland be in League One? I don't understand that. You know, with the potential that the club have, with the fans they have, with the stadium, they have one of the best training grounds in probably in UK or in Europe. The stadium as well, 48,000 capacity, is unbelievable stadium. And to find them in League One, it's hard to take. But at the same time, for things to get better, things need to change, and that's basically simple. Things need to change. I don't know if Sunderland Club need a new owner, or the new owner or the actual owner need to invest more money in the team. But things need to be changed. From not just the first team, from academy all the way. Because it's not we change this or we change that and then things gonna get better. I think it's a process where you need to work from the bottom to the top all the way. And they have the potential to become a Premier League team again, but it will take time. It will take time. But I think Sunderland is where he is now because they haven't done things right in the club. And I'm talking without knowing what's happening behind us. But as a fan, I'm saying this because I could see the mistake the mistake that's done with players, signing players that for a lot of money, paying them a lot of money they never play, or some of them they've been in and out, investing in the wrong players, changing managers every 18 months. That's not good. When you change a manager every 18 months, how can you maintain a philosophy of football? You have a manager coming with a philosophy. After 12 or 18 months, you change again. After 12 or 18 months, you change again. So how can players or the football club can adapt to a philosophy of football? You look in things like, I don't know, I always say Swansea, no matter what, Swansea obviously is not in the Premier League, but at some point, Swansea, no matter which manager was in the club, they always playing the same philosophy of football. That was playing, good football from the back, possession, and that's their philosophy. If you ask me what Sunderland philosophy of football is, I don't know. You might know, but I don't know what the philosophy in Sunderland Football Club is at the moment. It's hard, but I don't know what. It's a team that tries to play from the back. It's a team to play long ball. It's a team that is just going to score from crosses. It's just it's hard, and I think they need to give time to the manager, even when things go probably the way they don't want to see. They just need to give time because managers need time. 12 months, 18 months is hard. Some managers arrive in the club and they have to work with players that probably they don't want to work with because it's not players they like. And for that, they need a good 2 years, 3 years where they can sign players they want. It's a process where you build your team and then you get to where you can be. And then if your limit is championship, then fine. Then you need to sign another manager and change things again. It's just one of them things that I don't know. That's why I think, but obviously many people there are probably seeing different. But that's what I see from the outside.
Yeah. So going back to your playing days, and what was the best advice that you were ever given as a player?
Well, as a player, especially now, things change. I think to be a professional player, especially at a young age, young players now, 13, 14, 15, some of them, I don't know if you get pushed by the parents, but the ego in some of them is just, it's incredible. We're like, the training with the under 23s and they think, oh, I'm done, that's it, that's me done, and the hardest thing is not to gain the first team. The hardest thing is to find consistency in the first team. And that is the difference of, obviously you do a lot of sacrifices to get to play professional, but then it's how long can you maintain yourself playing professional. And obviously by doing that, you need to look after yourself, you need to train hard, you need to listen to the manager because it's never late to learn. I was learning even when I was a South Shields and I was 36 years old. And it's always room to learn. You're never perfect, So young players need to listen to the managers, need to pay attention. they're there for a reason. They're there to make you better. And in the first team as well, should pay respect to everyone there and do the best you can do for the team you're playing for.
That's fair.
Again, sort of sticking with your playing career, what was overall your proudest moment as a player?
My proudest moment have to be probably winning the World Cup with Argentina. I mean, proudest moment, obviously, making my debut in Argentina. That was the first really proud moment I had. Making my debut with Sunderland because it was my first European league in Sunderland, and then obviously winning the World Cup. I wish I had the chance to play for the first team in Argentina, but obviously that was a bit hard to reach or to get to that level. But yeah, probably then three things are moments that I'm gonna remember forever.
Mm-hmm. Was winning the World Cup, would you consider that was your biggest accomplishment in sports, or is it something else?
No, I think that obviously winning a trophy of that level for your national team. I mean, putting the national team top is just is something that you dream of, and I had the chance to do that for the under-17s. On the 20s is when we won the World Cup, and I was missing just playing for the first team, for the national team. But obviously, you can achieve some things. Some of the other things you cannot achieve, and that was probably something I'll miss. But yeah, playing for the national team have to be one of the proudest moments.
So what about, so Gav mentioned there about biggest accomplishments outside of football. What do you think's been your biggest accomplishment?
Outside football, obviously, create a family. Being available to have a family. Obviously, I have my family back home in Argentina when I was there, but then to have obviously my two young kids, wife, that was when you become a father, I think you accomplish a big thing, to become a dad and feel that is more than anything. I think when you have two young kids to look after, and they depending on you, I think that's one of the best accomplished in life.
So other than Sunderland, obviously, which club would you really want to play for? If you could choose anyone that you want to play for, who would you choose?
Well, in Argentina, I always want to play for River Plate. I'm a River Plate fan, and River Plate was a team that I always dreamed to play for. And when I was playing for Argentina Junior before I went to Sunderland, it was a rumor that River Plate could be interested in taking me as a left back because they were going to sell Diego Placente to Leverkusen. And when Sunderland arrived, Diego Placente, I think, of River Plate decided to keep him for another year. So it was about me waiting another year and see if the chance will appear, or just taking the opportunity to go in Europe. And then obviously when I took the opportunity to play in Europe, things changed completely. I was going to be there for a long time in Sunderland, at least for 3-4 years. That was my first contract. So things obviously went a different way. But River Plate could have been a dream. And then obviously, if you think even bigger, obviously you're talking about Barcelona, Manchester United, things like that. But I have my family that support River Plate, so yeah, it could have been nice to play for them.
Sounds good.
Who was the biggest joker that you came across in football, and why?
Well, we have some. I remember obviously because my first few years in Sunderland, I didn't speak any English, so whatever they say, I couldn't understand what they were saying. So, it was hard to get involved with the English lads in the beginning. But then after a few years, obviously my English got better. and the era of Mick McCarthy, we have some good lads in there, some funny lads. I remember a guy called Chef Willie. Remember the centre midfield that came from Man City? We have obviously the famous Irish Sean Thornton there. That he used to rap and sing. He saw he was a good singer, and yeah, we have some good lads, some funny lads in that team. That you know, we have a good time on the field and we have a good time out the field as well, and that I think go alongside when you have a good group in the changing room that get on well together. And things basically are easy on the field, and the 2 years with that group, it was a good time. It was a good time for us, for the club, for everyone.
Derek in Florida obviously mentioned the Sunderland take on the Spandau Ballet song for you. Was that your favorite chant or song that you heard from the supporters, or was there another one?
No, that had to be the favorite one. Every time I was out and went to a pub or people started having a few drinks, that song came out, and always in a good way and in a respectful way, And no, it's good. It's good to be recognized. It's good like when people recognize you for something that you done well. So no, that have to be the favorite one.
And last question from me, Julio. And by the way, this has been an absolute privilege for me to be able to sit and chat with you. I consider myself a bit of an Arca super fan. So again, thank you so much. But
Gav, can I just interject, because I already warned Julio that you were like fanboy, and
see this, he would.
I want classic.
We'll get you one sent over for sure. Sorry, Gav.
Anyway, yeah. So last question: how would you describe the Sunderland fans in 3 words?
In 3 words: passion, supportive, and I don't know the whole word, but I have to say that they fashion. Well, I would say supportive, passion, special. Especially because in my case, they were special with me. I even now, 20 years went past, and I'm talking to you, on the other side of the world. You go a Sunderland top, it's a Sunderland, on the wall, a Sunderland top on the wall, and it showed me that again, something went well. When you're talking with people like you, that you really, really, or you have the passion of being a Sunderland supporter. For me, it's great. When you people like you trying to get in touch with me to like talk about the old times, the good times, and spend time with you. It's just it's not about taking my time away from my family. It's good to obviously have the time to speak with you and many other fans. When they try to do the same. So yeah, for me, the Sunderland fans are special ones, and the connection I made with them was special as well.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you'd like to share, Julio? Any funny moments as a Sunderland player that you're allowed to share?
Yeah, well, I don't know if you heard about it's well recognized story about the jellyfish on the Mick McCarthy. Well, funny enough, it happened when we went we done a pre-season in America, and I can't remember the city where we went. And that in America at that time, even now probably, the ice bath after the games, after the rugby games, and after many sports, you jump in an ice bath and you do a cool down. And then we used to do that every time when we were there for 2 weeks. We came back to UK and to the Northeast. I think it was October, November. Imagine how cold it was there. and Mick McCarthy decided to take everyone to the sea just for a run. And I saw we were just going there for a run and just to like cool down. I think it was after one of the games we played. And somehow when we were there running, he decided to like ask everyone to get in the sea. The sea was absolutely freezing. It was October, it was windy, it was cold, and the water was probably minus 10 degrees or something like that. It was just ridiculous. And we go in the water, and we're just standing there, basically, just standing there waiting for him to say, well, lads, off you go. That's it, 10 minutes. And then I saw Mick McCarthy just coming from the side, and he was swimming. Honestly, he was swimming like he was in the Bloody Caribbean. I don't know why, but he decided to go for a swim in the sea. And we're just standing there, and he started calling everyone in. So he said, no, come on, lads, just get in for 5 minutes, and then we go. And we got in the water. It was getting colder and colder. And then out of the 20 players, I was the unlucky one to get basically stung by this jellyfish. It was a monster. It was like an octopus jellyfish. It was just a little one. It was a big one. And I went from being freezing cold to be absolutely on fire. It's just my skin was burning. I didn't want to get off the water. I wanted to stay in the water, when I got stung by a jellyfish. And what they say is that when you basically get stung by a jellyfish, someone had to pee on you. And that's why I got told, since young age. So I got out of the water. I was begging the lads to pee on me. Basically, I was begging for them to pee on me. And they didn't want to do that. So I had to go back to the training ground, and the doctor had a look on me. Everyone was laughing. I had to put eyes on me. Imagine, it's just so the lads see me lying on one of the benches in there. And then things started to be from being funny, things started to get worse. I was getting weak, I was getting dizzy, and I ended up in intensive care for one night for that bloody jellyfish. So that was one of the crazy and funny stories that happened to me. And then Mick McCarthy came to the hospital. I remember he came to the hospital saying, Julio, I promise we never ever go back to the sea again. But yeah, that was it was painful, to be honest, but it was funny for the lads.
Well, I have to say, like, I've never heard of anybody in my entire life being stung by a jellyfish in the North Sea. I'm just saying. I mean, Australia, yeah, the Caribbean, yeah, I get it. But the North Sea, that's hilarious, man. So anyway, I've got a quiz question. Here it is. So how old was Julio when he made his professional debut? Again, how old was Julio when he made his professional debut? You're going to send your answers to Sons of Liberty SAFC at gmail.com. That's Sons of Liberty SAFC at gmail.com. And remember, that's for 5 pint tokens to the Willow Pond. So, Julio, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for your time and obviously for your service to the club. We wish you all the very best with your future endeavours, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend with your family too, which is, I know you were looking forward to it, getting away for the weekend. And Gav as well, I want to thank you for your time as well, and I send my best wishes and the best wishes from the Sons of Liberty to all those that have been impacted by the fires on the west coast of America. And again, thank you for everyone who's tuning in at home. Keep an eye out on Facebook for any upcoming talk-ins as well. So again, Julio, thank you so much for your time. It's been absolutely superb to talk to you. And as I said, just take it easy and enjoy the time you've got with your family.
Thanks, Julio.
No, thanks very much. It's been a pleasure to be in the show. And I want to say, obviously, hello to all the Sunderland fans that have been watching the show. And yeah, wish you the best. And hopefully I speak with you soon.
That sounds good, man. Take it easy.
Take care.
Thanks, guys.
All the best.
Until next time.
Bye-bye.
Stay healthy, stay safe, and keep the faith. All the best.